Hey guys, it's Combat Saturday today. Well, actually, it's Combat Thursday, but it's normally Saturday. But I got to do it early this week because there's some personal stuff happening on Saturday, so I don't think I'll be able to do it that day. So here it is early. So what I want to do is today is talk about pivoting. All right, it's a really important skill. It's often underused skill. People don't think about it much, but it's a real game changer if you really master it. Okay. I'm going to show you a method from Bagua training, and it's called the two-step method. This is from the Yin style Bagua, the version that I learned. Okay, um, so pivoting has many uses. Sometimes it can help generate power in certain things you're doing. Like people, you can use it for joint locks, things like that. You can take angles when you're striking. Uh, you know, uh, you can also get power when you're striking too. It has many benefits. I think the best benefit of it is to change positions quickly. Okay, like you can train pivots in larger or smaller motions, but in real situations, you're going to find that you'll do a lot of very small pivots. You almost don't even see them. But I like to say, train big, but fight small. Okay, everything you do is larger in practice, and when you put it in practice, you shrink it down. Okay, but all those energies from the big training are still there. That's the key. Okay, people look at drills often too literally sometimes. Although that being said, sometimes things can be done like they are in the drills too. I mean, exactly as they are. That can be done too. But you just don't want to think it's going to be always one way or the other. Okay. All right. So the two-step method. Okay, let's go over the one-step method first. The one-step method involves a step through. So when we're looking at I'm going to call the half-step method. That's staying on the same lead, a half step. So a half step is your typical one leg front, one leg back. I'm going to use a line here on tennis court here. Let's go 1, 2, 3. That's the half step method, right? Staying in the same lead. Always staying centered, balanced, right? Yeah, and there you go. Okay, you don't want that front foot turned in too much, right, or out, right? Just almost straight, but a little turned in. Okay. Now the one-step method is stepping through, so you end up in the opposite lead. All right. So here's a one-step method. In a straight line, boom, toe out, toe out, toe out, toe out. See how I have to make room for it. So I'm here, I toe out, and this foot comes through. Toe out, this foot comes through. Sometimes I can take a step too. Okay, now that's in a straight line. You can also do a zigzag pattern. So zigzag would be, I can here take a little step. See, I'm going to zigzag. All right. There's also a hook step when you can do a sweeping motion. So my leg is going like making a circle. So I'm going here and go, wow, boom, wow. Okay. Okay, so those are all considered one step, half step and one step. Okay. Now the two-step method, that's how we train the pivots and turns. What we're going to do is we're going to have a little circle here. Actually, here I'm going to have a little drop here. Okay. I'll draw my circle. Here we go. There we go. There's actually another circle there already, but it's not quite in the right spot for the camera, so I made a new one. So here we go. All right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go here. I'm going to go 1, step through, 2. Now here's a pivot. I turn my foot. I hope you can see my foot there, but I turn my foot out and then I turn. Turn it out. Turn. And the other way. Here. 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 Okay? And you see, even when I make that little turn, there's a little pivot there as I step through. See? All right. So, one good way to practice that in a linear fashion is to just use a straight line, like on a tennis court here, or your basement, or whatever, and just do pivots, but end up on the opposite side of the line, all right? So what I mean here, right now, my right foot is on the right side of the line, my left foot is on the left side of the line. I want to pivot so my left foot is on the right side of the line. So I'll come here, here, then toe out, and I want my right foot on that side line. Here, 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 okay? So that's the thing. So you're just practicing turning in different directions, okay? Across the line, okay? And again, these are very large pivots, but in real life they might be small. They will be smaller, okay? But train big, bite small, right? Okay. So here we go. Once again, here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So the two-step method I showed you here, 1, 2, and then turn here and turn. Yeah, that's going forward mostly, and you can train the pivots that way. There's another way of doing the two-step method where you train the pivot even more, okay? Where you have a larger pivot. So what I'm gonna do here is, I'll be here, like let's say, now these are timed with strikes later on, but right now just work on the feet, okay? So here, here, now, you see what I did there? If I'm standing at the south position, I wanna put my right foot to the northwest position, so I'm here. But now I'm gonna bring my foot all the way around to here. I'm gonna go, so toe out, here, here, here. Now the whole time you wanna be rooted. You don't wanna be like oh, that kind of thing, right? I'm here, I'm turning, I'm turning, I'm turning, okay? So, turns like that are actually very useful for certain grappling methods, okay? One of the arts I practice is the bagua, and well, that's where it all comes from, actually. And in the bagua system, there's a lot of joint locks and grappling and controlling type motions, okay? So if I was to do an arm bar, for example, right? It's it's depending on how I do it. I could pivot on this foot, right? Because I could take something here, I can come down here. If I have his arm here, I can press on the shoulder with my hand or forearm, and I can get him down here. I can do a little pivot there, right? I can do a pivot here, right? It depends on where I am, but having those skills in pivoting can help you, okay, really get your whole body into it, okay? Because if you're doing any kind of a joint locking motion, you really need to have your whole body behind it, or else it's not going to work. If you just try and use your arm, you're never going to get it, all right? And that's why if you look at good wrestlers, good grapplers, they can defeat a much larger person, not because they're stronger than them, but because they know how to use their body efficiently and they understand leverage. Okay, that's really important. That's why sometimes you see these little guys and some big guy in a wrestling competition, and they take him out. Okay, it can happen. Okay, I've seen it before. All right. Okay, so let's do a quick review here. We had we had the half steps. Okay, I mean the half step is a basic one. You should know that by now. Okay, then we have the full step, the step through, always being rooted all the time. We have the step through zigzag. We have the first of the two-step method. So that's stepping here, attacking, stepping here, attacking, stepping here, attacking, here, attacking, and here, attacking, then changing. Back the other way, other way, other way, other way. And then the second method is the super pivoting method, and that's when you're facing the center of the square or outside. So I'm facing center of the square. I'm facing away from the square. Turn the foot out. Facing center of the square. Face away from the square. Face the center of the square. Now repeat. Away. Facing. Away. Facing. Okay? And the circle's good to use because you can always make sure that you're right in the position. You don't want to end up, way outside the circle somewhere. You'll know that you're not in correct position. Okay, so anyways, there you go. There's the pivot training from the Bagua methods. Okay, once again, pivots are a really underutilized skill. If you get good at pivots, you master them. It has so many applications, not only in striking but in grappling and you know all kinds of things. Remember, people often forget that in addition to just doing striking, I also do practice various kinds of grappling and wrestling too. So, you know, I found these things to be very useful in that as well. You know, various joint locks, things like that. You know, one final note here is don't look at any technique as a technique. Look at it simply as movement. All right, and what I mean by that is that if you think that something is a palm strike, that's all it'll be. Okay, I'm not saying it isn't a palm. Of course, it is a palm strike. But if I'm just looking at the movement, right, that could also be an arm bar. I can do a palm strike here. I'm still, in my mind, it's still a palm strike, right? I can do it. So it can be a strike. It can be a control. It can be a parry. It can be a hit, right? It can do, you know. So just train movement, not technique, and the appropriate action will come out in the heat of the moment, in the situation. Okay, you don't know how to answer a question until you know what the question is. Okay, so anyways, just I don't want to get too deep there, but food for thought. Okay, so anyways, I hope you found this useful. As always, if you have any questions, let me know and send me a message, and talk to you guys soon. Okay, see ya.